Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Alan, and what we're going to cover today is going to be it's on the PLT, how to use PLT files in the Design Era software. Now, if you're like most people, they'll actually start in the industry starting with rhinestone transfers that they buy from somebody. Perhaps you're fulfilling that for one of your clients. You're supplying them with transfers. And you get started that way. You start building up a customer base, and then you move on to, okay, I now need to be able to do them at my own home and to get more stuff done. So you'll go out and get a cutter and some flock material, and then you'll start doing this what they call the shake and bake method, where you cut holes out of flock material, and then you'll just brush rhinestones through those holes and pick them up with a transfer sheet and transfer them to your shirt. And then you start to get more clientele. You're growing your business. You probably quit your day job, and then you go and get an automatic rhinestone machine. And now you have all these hundreds of designs that are PLT based formatted, and you want to make sure you can still use them with your automatic machine. Now you can. Now whether you're using Windside Pro, or if you're using CorelDRAW, or if you're using any of these other softwares that create rhinestone templates so you can brush them into flock material, you can save them as PLT files, even if they're encapsulated PostScript files, EPS files. If you open them up in CorelDRAW and save them as a PLT file, you can import those designs into the Sierra software and export them to your rhinestone machine or your spangle machine or whatever, or what have you. Okay, so it's a nice transition. Now, the ability to be able to import PLT files would be an add-on feature that you would purchase. Okay, you purchase them from Sierra directly, and you just contact them at service@mysierrasoftware.com, and then get the PLT file add-on. Another nice thing about it is when you're learning your machine and learning your software, you don't want your machine to be stagnant. Okay, there are a lot of websites that you can go to that actually sell designs. Rhinestone World is one of them. That you can actually buy their designs here and then download them. There will be PLT files, or you can go to another famous one is Bling Art USA, and they have several designs that you could choose from. Some of them are $3 a piece, like this pumpkin is $3 a piece, and this is actually mixed media with the cutter with vinyl, or you can do glitter vinyl, and they have all rhinestone designs, and you can also use it for spangle as well. So it's a nice feature to have. So you can actually download stock designs, get them converted from a PLT into the Design Era software, and then send them out to your machine and start fulfilling customer orders rather quickly, or just enlarging your design library. So now, one of the things that I do recommend that you get alongside of your PLT add-on for the Sierra software is actually a copy of CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is a lot of these companies that actually make designs, rhinestone designs for flock material, will either write them in EPS, encapsulated PostScript, or they're going to write it in HPL or a PLT generated format. And CorelDRAW is the only thing that you can open up a PLT file unless you get Adobe Illustrator, which costs a lot more money. Also, too, if you have a student ID card, or if one of your children have a student ID card, you can get a discounted price on your copy of CorelDRAW, and it'll work just fine. So, what a PLT file looks like, I'm going to open up my CorelDRAW here. A PLT file looks like a rhinestone design. Okay, you can see that there's many circles here, and it just looks like a rhinestone. Now, what I would do is send this from my CorelDRAW into the cutter, and the cutter would cut those circles out. And then I would brush the rhinestones into those cut circles with a foam. They gave me a specialized brush to do that. And then I would take a piece of transfer sheet, which is sticky-sided, and then pick those rhinestones up out of my flock material and then heat press them to a shirt. okay? So that's why you're seeing it in circles here. Now what you do is, now if I want to send this to a Spangle machine, CorelDRAW will not be able to communicate with a Spangle machine. It doesn't understand it. There are no drivers for it to understand it from. So I would need the design error software to be a communication device for that machine type. Okay? So what I would do is I would take this design and I would open up the design error software, and when you go to File and you go to your Open tab, you have all these different features here where you can open. And we can go to a hotfix file, create a design document with a hotfix file. And in here we can see the HTGL PLT format. Now one of the things I will do is in CorelDRAW is I want to make sure the sizing is exactly the same as I'm used to cutting it on my cutter. So when I send it to my Spangle machine, it's the same size as Spangle. Or if I send it to a rhinestone machine, it's going to be the same dimensions, okay? So if you highlight in CorelDRAW the image, up here it'll tell me it's 10 inches wide by a little over 7.5 inches tall. So that's an important number I would need to remember. So I'll go into design error. I will find that design, and it's called, let's see, it's called Girls, let's see, let me find it here. Girls Guide to Wine. Once you click on Open, it shows you this design in this PLT organizer screen. And it shows me I have two pieces of information. Now, most of your PLT files will use SS10 stones or your 3mm Spangle or 3mm rhinestones or whatever. Only specialized PLT users actually use SS6 because their cutter most times will not be able to handle cutting an SS6 or a 2mm size circle cleanly. So they pretty much stick to 3mm or over, okay? Which is fine. It's you can get a lot of detail with it, but it does kind of eliminate the ability to do left chest designs with any kind of detail. The cutter that you would primarily want to use to be able to cut 2mm are cutters that have the ability to overcut a circle. So not only does it do a complete circle from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock, but it also overcuts that circle so you don't get that hanging piece of material where the blade ended, okay? So you want that overcut. Also, you wanted something that has tangential settings in it to allow it to do a scissor type cut, especially on those sharper, the smaller the circle, you have a sharper turn to the knife that has to take place. So when I bought this design from Rhinestone World, it was I know it was created in SS10s, okay, with all 3mm. Also, too, they'll also send you a PDF file. Most of your places that you get your stock designs from will have a PDF file which will describe the elements of the design, what color they used, and what size stones or rhinestones they used, okay? So what I have to do is, you can see that when I click on the first design element right here, what's highlighted is what I selected. This is the glass, so I know that's going to be clear, okay? That's going to be SS10 clear, and the second one is the words as well as the face, okay? So in the catalog here, we want to add those stones. So you just click on Edit over here, completely clear out the stones that are in the catalog here, and then choose your stone element. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a PLT file that I bought, and I'm going to convert it to a Spangle design, okay? And so what I'll do is I'll go to Spangles, and I'll choose the standard round. I'll choose my size. Okay, so you always want to do these steps, okay? As you see, I choose the type of element, whether it's going to be rhinestones, rhinestuds, nail heads, or Spangle. Okay, and even if you have a sequin machine, you can actually bring up sequin in this too. There's some people that are actually running motif sequin machines, and it'll convert for that machine as well. I'm going to choose Spangle. Then what you want to do is choose the size of the Spangle you want to use, and then choose the colors. Okay, so we're going to use holographic, which is my HS coating ones here, and we're going to choose a 219, which is going to be my similar to a clear stone, but it's going to be my primary neutral. And then we'll go ahead and grab the red. And the red is 223. Again, I'm at 3 millimeters. And I hit accept. Now we can see those two stones are on my side here. Got a question here. Do you automatically save it as a PLT from Sierra software? No. There's no reason why I need to. Basically, I'm using the design error to actually communicate a design that was created as a PLT into an automatic machine, okay? You do have the ability to export as an EMF file from Sierra, so you can use it as in a cutter situation, or you can export it from the design error to a cutter. You can, but it won't save it as a PLT file. So Sierra software does not save PLT files, okay? All right, now, what I want to do is I'm going to assign the stones to each one of these parts here, okay? That's the next step. So first step is actually opening up the design, importing the PLT file. And this dialog box, next thing I want to do is actually add the stones to my bead palette. And then assign, the step number 3 is assign beads to their spots in the design. So I'm going to click on this arrow button, and it assigns the HS219 spangle as the class. And you can see automatically advance to the lettering. Don't have to click on it. It automatically advances once I assign the first bead. Click on the arrow for the red, and then I hit OK. And give it a second. It's going to populate all the stones in there. It looks like it's doing nothing, but there it is. Now what I need to do is I need to set the size. See, the size came in as over 29 inches wide by 22 inches tall. So we want to go back to the Corel Draw and make sure that we have the right size. See, it's 10. Also, if you don't have Corel Draw, that's fine. The PDF file will tell you on it what size the design is. Okay. This is 10.018 by 7.685. You can see that right up here in Corel Draw, okay? So what I'll do is I'll go back into my design error, and I will size it accordingly. So I'll go 10.018 and hit enter. You can see it automatically resized proportionally in the Sierra software. So now I have the exact size the design was created. And there we go. There's the design. Okay. Show this on a black background so everybody can see it. It was that easy, okay? Now I'm ready to send this off to the machine, okay? I can do that real simple just by clicking on File, and I go to Save, and I go to Export, Send Hotfix File. And just take a second to populate. The first one always takes a little time to actually populate. There it is. And if I was setting to a spangle machine, I would use ASP automatic sequin press punch. Here's my beads and trays, and the first color it's going to run is my 3 millimeter silver. Second one's going to be 3 millimeter red. And by the way, this will work on the Elite as well. Okay. Click on Export and it sends it off. If you're sending to a CAMS machine, click on Your Name CAMS. Choose your machine type, whether you have the 1V2P or the 1V6P. And then send it off there. If you're using a sequin machine, of course, you use DST AAS, and this will write it to a USB stick, which you import up into your sequin motif making machine. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, let's go do another one here. I have plenty of PLT files that I tested over the years. So this one here is a cheer, sunburst cheer is what they call it. And a couple of things you can do with this is actually you can see the colors right here. It's all circles. We're missing a couple circles here. So you can actually let me ungroup this. Okay. And I'll deselect. And what I'll do is I'll usually edit There we go. I hit the wrong button. You can edit your designs. Let's copy and paste. And put one right there. Now, the nice thing about PLT files, they've got a nice gap in between from stone to stone. You're not going to overlap. It saves you a lot of time in actually cleaning up your artwork. So you can actually edit some things here. You can actually change colors in CorelDRAW too. I know a lot of people that actually are pretty expedient in creating designs in CorelDRAW that are circles like this, like PLT files for their cutter. They've been doing it for years, and I have still yet to master that. So you can move things around. And we'll just make them a little bit tighter here. And then we'll copy and paste. So you can edit your design as you see fit in CorelDRAW if you're familiar with it. I'm just going to space these out just a little bit more. Spacing out stones from one another is great. You want to always zoom out and see what your design looks like from a different perspective, zoomed out, 'cause that's how it's going to look like on the shirt. And if you need to attack an area, definitely do it. But like this here, I want to fix that before I even send it up. And that looks pretty good. Maybe just this one here, just back it off a little bit off that stone. So, and now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and go to File. I'm going to save, and we'll save it to my PLT files, which are on my USB stick. And we'll call it Cheer Scatter. And you want to save it as a PLT. By the way, if it was an EP, if you bought an EPS file, you want to save that EPS as a PLT. Okay, your software cannot bring in a PLT. So I'm going to call Cheer Scatter New. No, just Cheer Scatter. Just click on OK here. And now what we can do, we can go back in the Sierra software, open up a new design page, File, click on Open. You could choose the Hotfix file from the Create a Design document or Insert a Current document. You can do it from down here. It doesn't matter. They both work the same way. And then we'll find that Cheer Scatter. There it is right there. We click on Open. Now what I'm going to do is, there it is right here. So the first one you see is highlighted. It's going to be the cheer. The second one is all the stones for the scatter. So what I'll do is I will assign my stones. The first thing I need to do is remember the size of the design, okay? That's the first thing. I'm going to highlight in CorelDRAW. And up here is going to be 9.923. It's the only number I need to know. I need to know one of these numbers because when I enter that number into the Sierra software, it automatically proportionalizes the size and it'll be exactly the way I have it here. And it'll be exactly the way you sold it to your customer last year or the year before. 9.923 is the width. So what I'll do is I'm going to build up my catalog. And the first one is going to be cheer. I'll probably do that in purple. I'll just do this one in rhinestones. And knowing that these were actually created is 3 millimeter SS10, I'll choose my SS10 size. And let's go ahead and do a blue capri for the cheer. And then we'll do yellow SS10. There we go. And then we choose yellow for the scatter stones. Okay. All right, then we assign the stones. Okay. Step number 1, bring in the PLT file. Okay. Step number 2, build the bead palette. Step number 3, apply the stones. If you make a mistake, just choose the right area. And step number 4, click on OK and size appropriately. 9.923 was the size of this design, as we can see up here. So now you can see this comes in at 29 inches, okay? And that's just because of the different formats or interpreters of that format that Corel has versus Designer, okay? So I'll just type in 9.923. and I click on enter. It sizes it. And there it is. So now I'm going to change, now I'm going to turn it to 3D view. And I'm going to turn it to a black background so everybody can see it here. And there we go. That easy. Now I can just send this right off to the machine. Okay. Any questions so far? Not much to cover on PLT. It's very simple. It's only 4 steps that you need to do. The benefits are exceedingly great only because when you buy your machine, there's a learning curve on how to use the software to make your own designs. Now, 100% of this design is all customized product. The way a customer would approach me with a design and how I form it in my mind is going to be vastly different from the way you're going to do it. Okay? The way I would have done this cheer scatter, I would have had a totally different look. Okay? A totally different look. And then I would present it to the customer that way. And chances are, if they like the business I've done before, then they'll probably go with that, and then they'll trust me. So your clientele is going to want a design solely created by you. But these designs that are PLT files are great for doing outdoor events, okay? If you need some quick files that you need to be able to run off on your machine and put them on shirts and sell them at a market fair or a craft show or a bazaar or something like that, just to make some extra, just to get the ball rolling and get your name out there, then this becomes an advantage to you in actually creating some excellent looking design that someone else took time to do while you learn your software. Okay? Got a question here. I outline vinyl glitter into Hotfix to outline in stones. When I export out of Corel as a PLT, all the vectors are open and have to be closed manually. Is there another way? Is there another way? The only way I can do it so far is to export it to WMF. You're bringing in a graphic. You're bringing in a graphic design, an image file, okay? These PLT files are image files, but the image files look like circles. They're actually all built up as circles, which is what the PLT interpreter and designer does. It actually sees each circle and understands its diameter, okay? And then it assigns one stone to each circle. Now if you don't have the PLT add-on, you can bring in a PLT file, but it sees a circle in the shape and tries to fill stones around the circumference of that circle, not one stone per one circle of the PLT, okay? So when you're bringing in the Sierra software, a design that you outline in rhinestones, and you have this material that you're cutting inside, absolutely, you can do that. And you can bring in the material as a, unfortunately, I'll bring it in as a WMF, okay? The image file. I'll have to bring it in as a WMF. I'm seeing that right now on my computer. There's no way I can bring it in. I can bring in the stone image. Probably what you want to do is in CorelDRAW, separate your image, okay? You have your PLT file with your rhinestone outline, and then your other image separate, okay? And then save them just like that, and bring them in as 2 different files and correlate them one to one on a single page. Okay. What if you do not have Corel? The only software is Hotfix. You don't have Corel, and you want to buy some EPS files or PLT files from other vendors that are selling designs, or if your designer happens to create for in like WinSign Pro PCS, I think it's called, or one of these other myriad of different designs, then yeah, you would need CorelDRAW in order to save as PLT. Or if you're well, no, you don't really need that. If you just have designer, then your design that you buy from one of these websites, or and there's several out there that actually sell PLT files like this. Designs by Die is one. You can actually, all you need is the ability to import the PLT file in the Sierra, Margie. Once you have that, the file that you buy from these vendors will have a preview of the image. It's a PDF file. They'll have a preview of the image, what it's supposed to look like, what the size of it is, what the stones they use, and the colors that they use in the design. Of course, you can use your own colors whenever you want to. Okay. Let's see. And I hope that answers your question, Allison. Yeah, you'll have to still bring in the graphic image that you intend to cut as a WMF. Okay, because the PLT it's a cutter file, it's a plotter file, so it's not going to understand that vectored information. Okay, so hopefully there'll be some change. I'm not sure about version 17 that's coming out soon. I think it's coming out in a couple of months. It'll be released. And whether it's going to have that ability to correlate the PLT and the vector vinyl part as one image. So I'll take a look. We do have the software here. We are testing it and responding back to Sierra about some things we like about it, with the things we like to see changed. So I'll get back to you on that, Allison. Okay. All right. Any other questions so far? Okay. All right, so moving on. So let me just close some of these questions out here. There we go. All right, so I think everybody gets the gist of it. Now, what can I do with this design once it's in the Sierra software? Most people will just, if they're happy with it, they'll send it right off to their machine. Can I add anything? Absolutely, you can add anything you want. Number one, I cannot, if I resize this image, okay, it does not add the stones, okay? It just spreads them further apart, as you can see there, okay? So that's one thing. You'll have to keep the design as you see, as you bought it, okay, the size that you bought it. And a lot of these vendors will actually sell multitude of sizes. They'll do a cheer scatter large, cheer scatter medium for youth. So you can actually be mindful when selecting what designs you want to have, because you cannot automatically add stones to it when you bring it in, okay? But I can add text to it, okay? I can do that. I can add stones to it. I mean, I can go to Hotfix and go to a path file and, just do another bead right in the middle here to fill some of this in. I mean, you have those capabilities. You can add to it, but you just can't change too much of the aspects about it, okay? And then I could fill this whole in if it was absent, and you could change it. You can change the different types of stones. Like you can click on, if you don't like the yellows here, you want to maybe think about going with an SS16. Well, absolutely. Open up the image. Open up your catalog. Click on the stone that you want to change. Choose a different size stone. We'll choose a 16, and we'll choose the 16 again, and now we're at a 16, so now they're going to be bigger stones, okay? And you can use that and then resize if you need to go up higher, okay? Now I have the right size. Now we probably change the blue to the 16. If we want to go the other way, okay, maybe we're not really happy about the size of the design. Okay, let me go undo. Went back too far. It's coming in. And then what I can do, let's go ahead and make this 9.923 like I had it. If I need this to be a little bit smaller than I see it here, well, obviously, if you change the stones to SS6s, then you can actually shrink it down. So, I mean, that's some things that you can do, some tricks that you can do. So let me go ahead and go in here into the catalog, and I'll choose an SS6 stone. Just change the size of it. And then I'll go to SS6 in the yellow, and then accept. And now I have the room to resize. Okay.
We want to do a quick audio check. A few people were saying that they couldn't hear. I didn't notice anything.
Can everybody hear me? Got a concern about whether everybody can hear me. If y'all can just raise your hand. All right, Laverne, I can see you. Margie, Sheila, Karen, all right, thank you, Margie. There's some feedback earlier at the start because I had my volume on the TV on the monitor here up.
This is where we're getting audio from. Okay.
Okay. Everything's fine now? Okay, good.
Thanks, Alan.
All right.
I think this is what's up.
That was what the problem was?
The mic is there, actually, for some reason.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where
Let's see, Laverne asked a question, is there a quick way to see a stone count per color? Yeah, at the bottom of your designer software, you have your stones count right here, 1,371. Well, if you put your mouse over that, you can see right there, it's 277 pieces of blue and 1,094 of yellow. Another way you can do it is actually go into your catalog, go to Hotfix, go into your catalog, you can see that displayed right here. 277 in blue capri and 1,094. A third way you can do it is by going to the Find file, go to Print, and then go to Print Design Information here. And we'll just click on Preview. And I always print one of these out for myself for future reference, especially if I got to do this design next year. I know exactly which stones I've used, okay? And you can see right here we use blue capri color, there's 277. 1,094, and there's enough room on this paperwork that I can actually enter other notes as far as pricing that I did, where I bought the stones, any kind of modifications, customer information, all that information's there. You also have the ability to, let me go close here. If I go to Hotfix Draft Printing, I don't really use this one all too much, only because there's a lot more steps to it. But I can actually enter in even more information. I go to page setup, and then I can, not page setup, but I can go to, let me see, beads. And you see, it doesn't really give me color. I have to basically choose the colors of my stones here, and I can see it on. I can actually print 2 pages. Okay, one page for this color, one page for that color. I can collate to one page, just like that, and then you preview. And this gives you a different layout where it's just laid out a little different. It's reversed here. You can see that. Okay. So I usually use just the Hotfix printing. Okay. All right. Any other questions out there? Any other questions about anything else about software? PLT, importing PLT files and working with them. Not much information there, but there are great benefits to it. How many people actually out there have done Plotter and actually have a lot of designs in PLT? I know a lot of people. That's the migratory path of the Hotfix entrepreneur here. Is actually they buy rhinestone transfers and then they put minimal capital output for a cutter. They cut flock material, and as you know, doing multiple colors and the inability to do SS6 sizes with little problems is an issue. A lot of your toddler designs are going to be pretty basic. They're not going to be fully filled designs, really nice, sharp-looking, crisp definition to them. And SS6s do provide you a lot of benefit, and you do need an automatic machine to work efficiently out of those with those smaller type stones. And even an SS4 stone, if you're doing primarily just left chest, okay? Our machines have the ability to do SS4, although it's not very popular. And the resources for SS4 stones is very hard to find, but they are out there. You can actually do that too. So if you're just doing cap designs, and you want to capture 100% detail, nothing's better than a 1.5 millimeter stone. Okay, you get all kind of small 90-degree angles and small text with that. What about SVG files? Again, SVG files you can import in a cutter, okay? SVG files can be opened in CorelDRAW, okay? And then just resaved as a PLT, and then you can convert them over into your software that way. So CorelDRAW is a big thing, okay? It's most people that are doing cutting for their stones will have CorelDRAW. or Win Sign Pro USA, US, I think it's called, Win PCS Sign Pro, or even Rhinestone World's Rhinestone software, I think may write as a PLT. I think it does. And so if you that's fonts, Rhinestone Works, a lot of softwares out there that write the plotter, because a lot of people still do plotter. Okay, so it's a fantastic way of getting involved in the business. And then once that takes off, and you just can't keep up with the pace. More work in. If the faster you get work out, the more work you could take in, which means your profitability, your margins go up. Everything works better for you to grow. That's why plotting cutting is not the right tool to use when you're trying to put out 35 shirts a day. Okay, when you put out 35 shirts a day, you can do it, but you spend no time administering your business. Okay, so and then you got a lot of work up to do. It'll really get you. My father used to say, "It's great to own a business. It's horrible and terrible when a business owns you." So you definitely want to make sure you manage your time correctly in your business. And going to an automatic machine, whether it be Spangle or whether it be Rhinestones, is actually the right tool. It's the right tool you want to use when you're actually growing that big. Okay, no one stays in plotter all day long. I mean, unless they're doing crafts. But at one time, someday you'll have to grow from that. You'll want to grow, because if you're growing, then of course your business is a success. Does anybody have any other questions about anything about the software? Let's see, we got one here. Let's see. All right, so I have a Barina v6 software. It includes CorelDRAW. Would that work? You have to look at your file. Now, if you can create rhinestone designs in your Barina v6, I'm not familiar with the software. I'm familiar with their embroidery side of things. But if they do rhinestones, just look and see if you can export as a PLT or save as a PLT. If you can do that, then you might want to send me the file first. There's a couple softwares out there that don't write a clean PLT file. And then when I bring them into Sierra, okay, then they don't, the Sierra software doesn't understand the language of the PLT that was written, okay? So therefore it doesn't really bring it in. It gives you an error message, okay? In those situations, I always import into CorelDRAW and then kind of recreate the design and save as a PLT. You could do that, but I would want you, if you can write, if your designs in the Barina software look like this, circles, okay, and they're pretty clean circles. You can see how many node points I have in these circles here that make up my rhinestones. Okay, this is what some of the popular software, their circles look like hexagons. Okay. And the problem with the hexagon is it's not a clean shape to determine that's a circle. And when you bring it to Sierra, it doesn't understand, so therefore it doesn't know what kind of shape to put in there. Okay? So you want to make sure it can do that. But I'll be happy if you can export as a PLT in that Barina, or Bernina, Margie, you could send it to me. Okay? Just give us a call at 877-793-3278, extension 1010, put a ticket in. And then I'll contact you and see if that actually converts fine, okay? Is there a way to group by color without being on a path? Maybe something you bring up for update, let me see, or be able to group parts of an image. In version 7, I know one problem with the version 15 software is if I explode something, if I ungroup stones, perhaps because I want to rotate and keep all the stones in the correct spots, okay? There's no way of regrouping them. Version 17 will be able to regroup objects, okay, just like you mentioned there. I can go through there and choose groups of stones and group them, just like you can in most other graphic software. Version 17 will be able to do that for you. I know version 15 does not, and they never upgraded it to be able to do so because version 17 had to come out because of Windows 10, okay? Can you use rhinestone fonts from other companies like TRW with the software? I believe so. TRW software actually does create fonts. Primarily, they sell to the large body of the plotter custom clientele, and I do believe it does. They do come in PLT format. Okay. Of course, you'd want to confirm with them. I haven't bought anything from Rhinestone World, but I know the customer base is primarily PLT file enthusiasts. So they'll, and all their designs on their website, their individual designs on the website you could buy, are all going to be EPSs or PLTs. Now, all of those files, the EPSs can be resaved as a PLT in CorelDRAW, but usually they give you the EPS version as well as PLT in one file, just in case you have two different types of systems. They want to market to a lot larger family, okay? So I do believe their TRW software does write for plotter type cutters, okay? Yeah, that'd be great, Laverne. If you could send me that one, that'd be perfect. That'd be awesome. I could open it up in my software and see if it does. If it does, that'd be great, okay? If not, what I'll do is I'll try to open it up in CorelDRAW, see if resaving it as a PLT will actually clean it up. But I know there's like one or two softwares, customers that actually sent me some designs and said, this is what the software I have, can you do it? And it didn't really convert very well. Okay. Any other questions? All right, well, that concludes our tech talk today. We had a great time, and it's not much information on the PLTs, but I think just letting you know that it is available and what you can do with it and how benefit it can do for you. I think it's gonna help you. Okay. You all have a great weekend. I'll see you next week for another tech talk. All right. Talk to you later, guys.